Greetings, Raider Nation. This week on number 10, Texas Tech Red Raiders takes on number 15, Oklahoma Sooners. When the last time that happened, that Tech came to a game ranked higher than Oklahoma? Because I really can't think of one off the top of my head. Last week, we came back from behind and defeated West Virginia in Morgantown, and last week Oklahoma survived the dogfight with Kansas. Now, for those of you who did not watch that game, Oklahoma did not look all that impressive on offense. I mean, like us, Kansas was beating them the first quarter. Whatever. Kansas is the greatest first quarter team in the nation, or conference, or something like that. But that game remained pretty close for the most part. I mean, Oklahoma did pull ahead near the end, but parts of it that Kansas was actually going to beat OU. For OU's offense has, well, you can either say they were exposed in Texas, or, like me, think they have really been fledgling since Texas. I mean, ever since Texas beat them, those two games, they have not looked all that great. I mean, they are a winning team, yet they have not really had too much success running the ball from Texas and Kansas. I mean, sure, they do get yardage from it, and they do get at least one touchdown, but they're not running that often. It seems like they're more throwing the ball. And Blake Bell is not a quarterback. He's not a throwing quarterback. He's more like a Tim Tebow light. He's more of a power runner who can sometimes throw a good ball. And he, again, cannot throw the ball that well. I mean, we saw it in Texas. I mean, he was struggling to complete passes. Kansas, he had a hard time connecting against Kansas. Kansas is not a good team. Yet, Blake Bell cannot throw well against them. In fact, they had to turn to one of their receivers. I think his name was, what's his name? Laquan Besto? Or something like that? To throw a touchdown pass. Now, I think that's saying a lot if one of your receivers was pretty much critical winning that game. I mean, I don't know what the deal is with Oklahoma's quarterback situation. I mean, they had Trevor Knight there for a while, yet they replaced him with Bell. We had a fantastic game against Tulsa, but really? That's probably more of a lucky game on his part, or just playing a mediocre opponent. I mean, against TCU, they only managed rushing touchdowns. They did not manage any passing touchdowns at all. And Texas, well, we know they struggled against Texas. Same with Kansas. I mean, there's also that Notre Dame game where he did a pretty good job as well. But I think most of us has figured out exactly what kind of player Blake Bell is, and he's not the best ball thrower. I mean, granted, he's not as bad as Boykin for TCU, but in an off year of Big 12 quarterbacks, he's not that good, and that's probably saying a lot. However, Oklahoma's strong suit and what's gonna be one of our biggest problems going into this game is the secondary. The secondary is outstanding and is, albeit not as good as TCU secondary. It's definitely gonna be an interesting battle against our proven passing attack and their secondary. For the run defense is, I mean, it has fallen apart ever since they lost their linebacker. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but yeah, that has opened up a lot of room up front for teams like Kansas, and I think he got injured in the UT game, and or before then. So I think UT also had a pretty good time running the ball as well on them. So they had to rely on the secondary to even have a chance to win this. But for rushing attack has never been all that great this season. I mean, we had some good games every now and again. We had a few breakout plays, but we have not really ran the ball consistently enough. I'm not sure if the missing linebacker will help out at all running attack, but I would expect to see a bit more runs than we are normally used to seeing, to see if we can try to exploit that and try to open the passing game more. For we need to get the secondary off balanced and make sure they don't start taking away our passing game. We also need to work on how we block the run, since, as I said before, Oklahoma is a run team, and I think they may start running it more hill and try to be more successful, seeing how they are probably watching our tape we had against West Virginia, and we had some difficulties stopping the runs. Now, hopefully we hopefully we can get that fixed in practice, or got it fixed in practice. For I don't want to see Oklahoma getting us. For they're playing in Norman. I mean, Norman's a pretty tough place to play. I mean, it is one of the toughest in the nation, and they have an insane crowd though. Not as insane as Morgantown, but they have a crowd that can really get into it. And I hope they're trying to recreate that 2008 moment. They blew us out of the park, but that was a different team, a different year, and whatnot. So we need to keep the fans out of it. And hell, we've even won in Norman recently in 2011, and some of those same players are actually still on this team. So winning in Norman, for us at least, is not completely out of ballpark, since we have won there before, and last season they lost 2 games there. So their Memorial Stadium they play in is not as impenetrable as it has been in recent years. So this game is definitely going to be a fun one to watch, and I can see why it's getting the Game of the Week on Fox. Now, if only we can get that kind of respect from ESPN again. Anywho, another problem we should probably work on are our penalties, since we are heavily penalized in all of our games, and we need to really start playing more disciplined ball heading forward, especially here in Norman. For albeit Oklahoma is not the best they have been in years, they're still a pretty good team, and they are the best team we have faced all year by far. And this is the stepping off point for the rest of the season and how we are finished. Like, if we beat Oklahoma, I think we can have a easy shot at winning the Big 12. If we lose, it'll be more of a struggle trying to get there. Either way, this game is going to be a very fun game to watch, and hopefully we can fix some of our special team problems as well that have been holding us the past 2 games. But I'm confident enough that Kingsbury have us prepared properly for this game. So my score prediction for this game has been up and down the entire season and even this week, to being cautious before Oklahoma starting falling apart, confident afterwards, and mixed in. I finally arrived at a score of a pretty reasonable 35-31 Texas Tech wins. So, until after the game, Raider Nation, guns up, Raider Power, and wreck 'em Tech.